Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're back with some LCS and League of Legends off-season coverage once again. Today, more specifically, we're going to be talking about these little tidbits, rumors, and stuff that wooloo has been tweeting out recently. Just kind of some of his leftover notes from the off-season stuff that he either heard that never ended up coming to fruition, just some random stuff that never really worked out, or just some stuff that he thought was interesting that he wanted to let us know about now that the off-season is over. Because again, most teams all around the world are pretty much finalizing their rosters at this point, whether it be their LEC, LCS rosters or their academy rosters, European regional leagues, all that good stuff. So yeah, the last couple of months and weeks have been really crazy and really fun, but now we're kind of winding things down, and wooloo has some leftover stuff that he wants to talk about. So at the beginning of this, he has quick timer was almost SK LEC support. He even duo queued with Jezu in that context, so that's pretty interesting. Obviously SK could have potentially been going a different way with their support position. That one isn't as exciting as the next one, I don't think, though. He does say that if Jankos retired, Shadow may have been an option for G2, and I think this is a really big one to break down for a couple of different reasons. One, it says that, potentially Jankos was considering retirement. Obviously, he didn't retire. Obviously, he came back and said, I really want to continue to play a long time into the future. I want to try and win world championships. I want to, continue to be the best. But obviously, there has been some rumblings and stuff of him maybe potentially retiring. And if they do win worlds or something, Jankos could be out the door. He is a guy who has a very big stream. He has said himself that he loves streaming. And obviously, the pro life is quite a grind. And when you can make a ton of money and have a ton of fun streaming, and you don't need to, play just hours and hours a day under high stress, high pressure situations, and you can still make a ton of money and still have a ton of fun, I could definitely see in the near future where potentially Jankos is retiring. Obviously, depending on how G2 does at international events and stuff, because again, it does sound like he wants to try and win a world championship. He definitely thinks that G2 can do that. But a year or two from now, even if Jankos is still at the top of his game, we could maybe see him going out early. It does sound like that is a possibility. And again, I don't know if this means necessarily that he considered retirement this offseason, but it sounds like G2 is at least looking at other junglers, or at least talking to other junglers, or at least considering that Jankos retiring might be an option this offseason, which I think is pretty crazy, which I think I never really heard about, and I don't think many people talked about. I know it's kind of always been on the table, but yeah, that's the thing. Then the other thing is that Shadow was potentially going to be an option for G2, and that is super crazy to me. Not because I don't think Shadow's good enough. Again, he was first team all LEC jungler in the summer split. I think he's definitely good enough. What's crazy to me is that Shadow was considered for the G2 lineup, a team who's trying to win LEC titles and really trying to win MSI and world titles. They're trying to be one of the best teams in the world, obviously with their roster, bringing in guys like Reckless. They want to be one of the best teams in the world. They want to be the best team in Europe. And Shadow was an option for them. They do believe Shadow is good enough to be on their team, to be on their roster, to win LEC titles, to do well at Worlds, to do well at MSI, and no other team in the LEC picked up Shadow. Like, that is crazy to me that G2 would be willing to bring him on, and there's 9 other teams in the LEC, and Shadow is not on a roster right now. Obviously, some of the teams already have great options in jungle, like Fnatic, self-made. I wouldn't really go Shadow over him or anything, but there is 6 or 7 other teams that definitely should have been considering, if not bringing in Shadow, if not for their main team, if they thought they're, they had a guy who's maybe going to be great in the future, or if they have a great plan lined up or whatever. The fact that he's not on a European Regional League team either is just absolutely crazy. I think it's interesting that maybe G2 wouldn't have even picked him up for Academy if they do think he is kind of that jungler of the future. I do think Shadow will be back in short time, because I think if a team ever struggles at jungle, he's definitely has to be the top option on the market. And I get it, he didn't have a great end to the summer split, didn't have a great run in summer playoffs, obviously did not look great at Worlds, but he was the number 1 jungler in the LEC in summer, and this is just crazy to me. I do like hearing at least that G2 would have considered him and did think he was good enough, but the rest of the LEC, come on, that's crazy. Then we have the fact that TSM Academy considered Bravado. wooloo says he still doesn't know where Bravado is going to play, so somebody please sign him. Another interesting story. Obviously, whenever TSM comes up, it's going to be a big story. And then the other one is that he says Crownshot was 99% going to the LCS, so I guess Crownshot did think he had a team lined up. He probably thought he had a contract lined up. I don't know if that means Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, 100 Thieves. I know we heard a bunch of different rosters, rumors, all that stuff. And I also wonder if Crownshot thinking he was going to the LCS may have affected him not ending up on an LEC roster. If he thought he had a deal done, if he thought he had a place to go, maybe he wasn't really talking to LEC teams anymore. Maybe he wasn't really considering offers anymore. Obviously, the LCS kind of had a weird offseason with a lot of stuff moving around, a lot of teams, thinking they were going to have money and then not having money, and then thinking they would have certain players and not, and a lot of moves happened back and forth, really, really weird. And it sounds like Crownshot may have got screwed over in the end because, again, if he was 99% sure going to be going to the LCS, I'm sure he wasn't thinking about other options. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about a backup plan. So I do think that is really interesting. I do wonder what team he did think he was going to be going to, what kind of offers he was considering. Because, again, we heard Nemesis had offers from North America, but he actually turned them down. So I just wonder, did Crownshot pull out? Did some of the LCS teams pull out? What exactly happened, and which team was it? But I do think it's pretty interesting as well. And again, Crownshot's a guy who I'm sure will be back in the LEC or LCS in due time, because obviously I do think he's good enough, and I think it's just a travesty that he's not in a professional league at this point. Same thing with Nemesis, same thing with Shadow, and a lot of these guys right now, which is just really, really crazy. But this was a crazy offseason where teams did a lot of crazy stuff, so I guess we can't be too surprised. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below talking about any of the stories we covered today. Do you think Shadow to G2 would have been a good move? Do you think Crownshot should have gone to the LCS? Do you think there's a team he should be playing on right now? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about today. Definitely subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Check me out over at Twitch, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. The merch link is going to be the first link in the description below. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.